Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning. All right, we're about to get started. The first thing I want everybody to do before we're going to open up in prayer, and then we're going to turn it over to, we're going to turn it over to our distinguished experts in real estate here in Dubai. Let's show them some love by clapping our hands. So what's going to be happening today is that you're going to learn everything that I learned fast track, but directly from the experts. I think I haven't done a great job in explaining. I've taken people one by one when they ask me, but I haven't been able to really give it to you the right way. And I really just stepped out and done something stupid and crazy and still paying for it, but it's been good. I remember our first property, I had spoke with Aki. Can you lift your hands, Aki? Ain't she pretty? Maybe that's why I did it. I'm watching. And so then after I done the first property was good, I said, okay, I feel good because I had like a year of trying to get into real estate in America. And at that time, I was in a way better financial place than now. And luckily is my, witness. How many properties, 9 properties just going through stuff and nothing never worked. I said, that's not making sense. I said, how can you make money and can't get property? So I just played in the stock market. And what ended up happening, we came here to Dubai, shortened the story, came back, felt that thing, was working with getting my residency and investor's visa. Done that first, so that's why I mentioned that to you guys first. But then Aki told me, of course, the company didn't tell me, shout out to Flying Colors, they're great. She said, you don't have to do that. She said, get the property, and having the property, you can have all the benefits that come along with the visa. And of course, y'all know Constance. And she was doing the process. She said, they said this is $8,000, but you know, Aki said I can get 10 and I can get into this first property. I said, yeah. She said, I ain't doing that. I'm going straight for the property. And that's what her and her husband did. Then the Henrys jumped in on it. So I'm sure they're gonna see this. They took my word and they ran with it. And then Glenda was like, okay, well, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at the property aspect, because you stopped the, right. And someone else, Jacera, did the same thing. So I'm stopping that. Let me look at the property. Someone else, I feel like, maybe they're not. Who? Felicia did the same thing. And so now we're here to learn. And Dashima had already told me that this was something she wanted to do. So please listen carefully. And I want nobody in here to feel like that you cannot buy. Because they don't know this, but in America, it's intimidating. Even if you are, number one, if you're black. Number two, even if you got good credit, educated, and got a little piece of change. It's just so much. And this process is really easy. They're going to start at the top, then work down. And then you just step out there in your faith and in your finances, whatever level your faith and finances is at. So listen really carefully, get in the energy of it. If you feel like you can't do it, if you're in this room, tell yourself that's a lie, because you're here because you qualify to sit in that seat. So make sure you listen so that you can learn and put this in your head. And you may do like I did. Well, I did some strange stuff. I got rid of 3 properties. One right now done signed to get rid of. It was a leases. I got rid of a G63 Mercedes, a Cullinan Rolls Royce, S-Class Mercedes. I said, those payments I can take and put somewhere and make some money. And I split it and got into these properties, and the others I put into the stock market. So you may leave here rearranging your entire financial life. But that's good, because then by 50, by 60, by 70, you're retired, traveling the world on the money you make every month off of your property. So without further ado, let me pray first. And yeah, let's pray. I forgot to write that prayer out because I'm gonna warn y'all just in case something happens. Just you know. All right, that's a little prayer. Father, we thank you for this moment and this opportunity that we have to learn and to be educated and inspired. Now, Father, I pray that the spirit that you have put in us, that is you, that it will rise and illuminate all information that we hear. And all information we hear, we thank you that you have empowered us to apply. We thank you that you have also empowered us to multiply it and then distribute it to others, that it can be knowledge that will empower and impact them. Thank you for the anointing to globally impact and globally acquire. And we thank you that this is the launching pad for acquisition, getting that you have promised unto us, that we can do this in excellence, impact the world with our cash, our character, and our calling. Now bless these speakers that's going to talk to us and teach us, anoint them to share and to inspire us. And this is what we ask and request. We honor you, Lord God of all, Father of all, called by many names. We call you God by our pathway Jesus, but we know that you're King of kings, Lord of lords, God, Lord of all, Allah, whatever you're called, we honor you. Shemoraba. Glory. Thank you, Jesus. And we magnify you now. Hallelujah. 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 Amen. All right. We're about to get taught. Let's go. Come on, y'all clap.
Larry, thank you so much for that. It's amazing. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming in. I know you guys had to wake up a little bit early on your holidays, but bear with us for a bit. This won't take too long. I hope you all are enjoying your breakfast. Awesome. How's your stay been in Dubai so far? You guys are loving it? I'm glad y'all came in the winter because summer is intolerable. All right. We're going to dive into a few things where myself, I'm Zoheb. Also, people call me Z, so it's a lot more easier. My wife will be stepping up next and giving you some more information. That's Alicia. And one of our oldest team members, Akanksha, I think y'all call her Aki. Awesome, there you go. Fantastic. Whichever one of y'all like, y'all can scan the QR codes later on to get in touch if y'all want to. Oops, that's the last one first. What are y'all waiting for? Awesome. So I'm Zoheb Hamirani, also known as Z, and I am the owner and co-founder of Bull and Bear Properties along with my wife. I want to jump into a few points before we go into the entire presentation as to why the UAE or Dubai has one of the most stable currencies in the world. We are pegged to the US dollar, and it's been ever since more than 5 years now. So our currency does not fluctuate. It maintains its value, and it has been since the past 5 to 7 years, as you can see on this chart. So every US dollar converts to 3.67 dirhams in local value. So that makes it a very stable currency where you invest your money and you don't lose the value of it over time. Right? Dubai also offers multiple income streams along with the return on investment, where you see the term ROI. Right? So that is your return on investment. There are multiple ways to do that. You can invest in long-term properties as well as short-term properties. What do I mean by that? Long-term is your tenancy contract for your tenant for about a year's period. So about 12 months. It's a more stable way to earn income. And we have that anywhere between 7 to 9% per year, which is one of the highest in any market in the world. And if you plan to do Airbnb, you have companies that are already set up in the country that will help you to do that. They charge a nominal fee, but there you can make returns of 9 up to 15% per annum on your money. So that's some things to keep in mind. That's per year, right? Just the things that I highlighted earlier. So you've got long-term rentals and you've got short-term rentals. Like I said, short-term rentals are for a few days and long-term rentals are for about a year. Income is fixed on a yearly basis where you do long-term rent, as well as where you do short-term rental. It's more a variable income. It's like a stock market, depends when the market is hot or the weathers are good. There's a lot of people flying in, and you can then price your property what you want it to. Whereas in the summer months, it's slightly slower, so you have to go with the market flow. Certain things to keep in mind in regards to maintenance. If you're doing a long-term rental, the tenant takes care of the property for you. Whereas if you do a short-term rental, you are responsible for the cleaning, maintenance, and repairs, and so on and so forth. But you also do make a lot more money when you put it on short-term let. When it's a long-term rental, you have limited flexibility. So you have a fixed contract. If you want to have your tenant vacate, you got to give them enough time notice. Whereas in short-term rentals, it's quite flexible. You can have a contract as per how long you want it to be. As I mentioned, the rate of return, you make 6 to 9% on long-term rentals. So if you put, let's say, $1 million, you take home about $60,000 to $90,000 per year. And if you do short-term rentals, you'll be taking a lot more than that. If you're going to do long-term again, you have mainly people who move to the city for longer periods of time. They want to do business here or they're working for someone. So you're going to have those kind of tenants. And short terms is mainly tourists, people on holiday, people on business, and so on. Residency through investment. Now, this is something that has attracted the attention of pretty much everyone from across the globe. Dubai is a beautiful, vibrant city, and everyone wants to either have a home here or a holiday home here or any kind of investment. For the reasons that I mentioned earlier, your currency is extremely stable. It isn't like how we have it in India, where the rupee keeps depreciating every single year, whereas here, your currency maintains its value. So you have 3 types of visas. You have one, which is the first one, which is for 750,000 dirhams, which is about 200,000 US dollars. This is not something that you purchase an asset, which makes you returns every year, and you would have to only put down that much in dollars, which is 210,000, and that gets you a 2-year residence permit. This allows you access to healthcare, as well as it allows you to even work over here. A lot of people are employed in different countries, but their job allows them to work remotely from anywhere. So you have the option to come here, take your salary in UAE dirhams, and don't get taxed for it. That's one good option to look at. A lot of people from across the globe have been doing that. Yes, sir. Can we get the mic to Larry, please? I should just have you come stand next to me.
Testing. Okay, I can sit next to you. Not stand.
Yes, that would work.
There is no personal income tax in this country. So, for instance, I remember a key, first property, 3-4 months, she mentioned the second property. And I was like, that's a lot of money. I'm getting into another payment plan. She said, well, I can just sell the first one. I said, I just borrowed it. It ain't even built. She said, well, it looks like you made a profit. Whatever I paid for, it had already made 100 or 200,000 dirhams. And when she told me that, I'm like, no, let's keep that. What's the second property? And I thought about it. If I had made that money, which I don't know what it converts to in dollars, but if I had made that money in America, then I would have possibly gotten into a double taxation thing. But because they do not tax me here, I only had to pay or have to pay the taxes on it as if I made that in America. Because as an American citizen, you're an asset. I just want you to know. You're owned. We're slaves. Still. you can't make money nowhere in America and not have to pay them taxes. So if you're going to buy and invest property, you need to make sure you do it in a country where you don't have to pay taxes there. Yeah. So no taxes on here for what you make.
Thank you for that, Larry. So Dubai, we don't have any kind of taxes, like Larry mentioned. There's absolutely no income tax. So whatever you earn, you take back home and you live your lifestyle. I will dive in more on the property taxes as well. And whatever property you purchase, you don't pay any taxes on that either. You only pay a one-time registration fee, which goes to the government, which is a small 4%, and you're done. Whatever rental income you make, you pay zero taxes. You wish to sell the property for a profit, let's say you made $1 million on top, you pay 0% taxes to the government. And if you want to pass it on to your next of kin, your family members or your kids, you pay a nominal tax of 0.125%, which for $1 million property is not even $1,000. So you get the idea. I think that mic's gone off.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Perspective. Did you hear what he said? You reacted to it because you did it. You work with all that kind of stuff. Now, that means that I can buy a property here. I'm sure he shows you the fixed and then he shows you the Airbnb, the short term. Now, over here, it's not like America. If you're the landlord and somebody wants to rent to you, they do not pay you every month. They give you rent for the entire year. You get a lump sum of money. You can put wherever you want to put that money and can literally make money off that money while your tenant's still paying your mortgage. That's wonderful. Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. All right. The next and the most popular visa is our Fancy Pants Golden Visa. That one requires just an investment of 550,000 US dollars. Now, sometimes the amount may sound really, really big, but Dubai offers the flexibility to let you pay that money over a period of a couple of years. So we call that off-plan or pre-construct property, where you buy in early at a lower price and use the time frame that the builder is giving you or the developer is offering, which is say 2 years to 3 years, where you pay part of the payment, not even the whole payment. And most of them allow you to continue paying even after you get the keys for the next 2 to 3 years, while you put the property on rent and start earning income. So that helps you pay part of the payments that are due to the developer. I hope I've made that clear. Yeah, everyone's good? Awesome. So as we mentioned earlier that it's much easier to do business over here. I've got a very simple legal framework. If you wish to put in a will, even though the local laws or the local religious laws do not apply to you, you can still put in a will in either of the courts. So one is your Dubai courts, Abu Dhabi civil courts, the portable registry, as well as the DIFC wills. So you have multiple authorities where you have your regulated courts. You can put up a will for your next family members to inherit the property directly, right? If you guys want pictures of any of the slides, you can reach out to Akanksha or myself later on, and we will share the entire presentation for you. So y'all don't need to worry about, just take notes. If y'all have any questions, you can shoot them across to us once we're done. Yeah. The point that Larry also highlighted and I highlighted earlier, I'll run through it again. You have zero income tax. Every single penny that you make, you take home. No capital gains tax, no inheritance tax. So even if your kids get your property after you, they don't have to pay any taxes. And we have corporate tax exemption as well for real estate sector. So this is how the Dubai government is promoting real estate for everyone across the world to have a piece of the pie. I'm sure I don't really have to highlight on the lifestyle about Dubai. I'm sure you guys love it already, but you'll know that we are probably the most safest city in the world. You can walk outside at 4 o'clock in the morning and not have to worry about a thing. So I'm not going to dive in too much and bore you guys with that. We are also very business friendly. We love that people come here, set up corporations, set up headquarters. You must have seen some really, really big names that have moved into this country. You have big names like Google, Microsoft, HP, Canon, you name it. They have a headquarters here for the MENA region, which is your Middle East region. So we've got great global connectivity. We have the best airlines in the world, which is Emirates and Etihad from Abu Dhabi. You also get a lot of 100% tax ownership benefits in terms of business. You can set up a trade license for as low as 1,000 US dollars in a span of 1 week, right? I know in the US sometimes things are difficult. My brother lives there, my cousin sister lives in Atlanta. I've seen how it is. But over here, things are a lot more smoother and a lot more easier. Many times, you yourself don't even need to visit the offices where they do everything. You just hire a guy and he gets everything taken care for you, right? The most important thing is everyone's moving to Dubai. We have an influx of people from all across the globe, as well as a lot of millionaires that have moved in. And some of the major cities from where people are moving out, US being one of the bigger ones. And where are they all going? They're just coming here. So that was my presentation on why Dubai. I would also like to walk you guys through the map of Dubai, which would give you a little more detailed insight and maybe help you make a more informed decision coming forward. Give me a second. Okay.
While he's doing that, when I got into all this information, the first thing in my mind was buy. I mean, buy everything. No, not B-U-Y, but B-Y-E, as in see you later USA. But I live by this and that, not this or that. So I said, okay, I can remain a citizen in the U.S. unless Trump get crazy. I mean, 'cause he very well could get vindictive and say Americans who have dual residency and dual citizenship, you got to choose ye this day. That's his character. So that very well could happen. Because there's a little thing going on between America and Nigeria right now, and Ghana. It's very interesting. Anyway, but I want everybody to understand and see a difference between government that is about capitalism and government that is about humanity. This country was built off of an apostolic vision. We'll call it an apostolic prophetic vision because here you have a man who says, I want to create a world to where the entire world can come and grow and advance and live their best life. That's not why America was built. We know the history. So there's two different energies that are running two different people. And so I think it's essential for us, especially as Cushites, black people, to have some kind of connection with the UAE, particularly Dubai, because of how it began. It began, we follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. This is Islam and Christianity and Judaism, Abrahamic religions. But Islam, which I really can get into some things, I love Islam. And then the scripture said about the light, it named the phases, Moses, Jesus, and then it talked about Mount Paran. I live on Mount Paran. So all of this is prophetic, because that's where Muhammad, it was prophetic of Muhammad. It's in our Bible that would then begin to lead the people into peace and into love. Well, this place was built on it. So it's essential, in my opinion, this is my little opinion, for us to have a connect, because we really can't manifest what Jesus taught without a clarity about who Muhammad was. I know y'all can't. I know y'all can't handle that. So financially, we're talking about our money. And we're talking about globalization. So we're going to have to diversify our money. You gotta have some money working in this environment because it is literally welcoming the future. And then technologically, this place is more advanced than ours. They ain't gonna tell us that and make us feel like we're more advanced. We're not. We're behind them and China. So this is key and important to really get your consciousness into this and your money and spirituality.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you every time. All right. Um, the reason why I have the map of Dubai open is usually this is how we explain to our clients when they sit one to one, and we pinpoint what areas of Dubai are important and how important is it for us when we pick an investment property for ourselves. Where do we need to be, and how well and strategically located our asset class should be at, which will then help us generate that rental income, which then we can use for ourselves, right? So I'm sure everyone's been to the Dubai Mall. Awesome. So that's your Dubai Mall right there, and you have the famous Burj Khalifa right next to it. You all must have seen the Dubai Fountain. Have you guys made it there yet? Awesome. It's cool. Right. So downtown Dubai is an area that is surrounded over here, and this area is currently demanding a price of 600,000 US dollars for a one-bedroom apartment, right? This has obviously taken time over the years. Back in the day, you could buy something here for as less as 350,000 US dollars. Over time, it appreciates, building the demand around it. I am going to pinpoint a lot more locations just to give you a better idea, and then we'll dive into some of the hot properties that we feel are good for all of us. Right after downtown Dubai, we have an area called Business Bay. So all of this is the Business Bay area. It's a business district of Dubai where you have majority of the commercial skyscrapers. A lot of people have their headquarters as well as branch offices, all in the vicinity of Business Bay and downtown, because everyone wants to be centrally located, right? So that's the center of the city. As I zoom out, I'm going to dive into another very popular area of the city, which is our beautiful Palm Island. That's your Palm Jumeirah. And we all are currently, I think everyone's living in JBR, is that correct? Pretty much. Okay, so JBR is down this stretch. If you drive down about 10 minutes, you'll reach the Palm Jumeirah. Palm Jumeirah has properties today starting at 850,000 US dollars, which for us, we don't feel that they are much of an investment anymore because they've kind of reached their peak in terms of the price that they can achieve. Right after Palm Jumeirah, you have this tiny little island right next to it, which is this stretch here. You also have the cruise terminals that are lined up here. This island is called Dubai Harbor or Beachfront Island. It's a very exclusive island. You've only got 28 buildings on it. And currently the Mar Beachfront, you can buy a property for as low as $820,000, which again, in my opinion, is a little bit on the higher side. The reason for pinpointing all these locations is so that we can understand where we're zoning into right after looking at this and seeing the way that it has grown. Right after that is the area where we're at, which is JBR Beach. Oops, sorry for that. Okay, so that's JBR Beach. We're currently over here. And JBR Beach has a price point of around 600,000 US dollars currently going on for any property over here. If I drive a little bit into the mainland, if you'll notice here, next to JBR Beach, Dubai Marina, there is this really amazing area which is called Emirates Hills. This is like the Beverly Hills of the US. Here, probably the lowest price house sells at about 15 million US dollars, which is 20 years old, and you'd have to tear it down. So that's the value of the land just in this area. I mean, if you'd bought a house over here for $15 million, you wouldn't want to live in it. It's too old, almost 20 plus years. Just to give you a perspective of how the area looks, everyone here has an individual house, and it sits right on the golf course. So that's the Montgomery Golf Course, which is here in Emirates Hills. Yes, ma'am.
So are you saying that you buy the house at the property for $15 million and then you tear it down and rebuild again?
You would have to, because the structure is that old.
Wow.
But let me make it really clear. That's not how it works in America. The house that Shamako lives in is 21 years old, and it's 1.4 or 5 million, and they patching it up. And that happens on the house I live in, which is the Episcopal residence, is about to be 15 years old. It's 4.9. So he's saying, Z is saying, tear it down, build another one. America will keep putting up that price, and so you can't tear it down. Right, exactly. And it could be 30 million. Yeah, exactly. You had a question? Somebody had a question? Okay.
What I also wanted to highlight was this area, the kind of clientele it attracts are the who's who of the world, right? So these are the guys who don't want to come and renovate an older property. They want to come in, tear it down, build it to their spec from ground up. And that's the kind of people that come here. There is another area which is a very popular area in Dubai, which is called Dubai Hills Estate. So it goes from here all the way down and all the way across. Again, you have this luxury wing of Dubai Hills, is again another copy of Emirates Hills, but a more updated version. Here again, you'll find villas on the golf course. That's your entire golf course there. And here villas can range from $15 million going all the way up to about 80 to 90 million US dollars. Reason for that, if you notice, some of them sit on a huge green belt, and that's the width of one of the houses. Right, these are north of 45,000 square foot of livable space. Leave aside the plot and everything else. Right, see, this is just to give you an idea of the kind of neighborhoods we target, which are not these, but the neighborhood in the vicinity, which helps give a domino effect to our property, looking at the USPs around us in terms of shopping malls and schools and so on. And that's where we make our investments, making sure that we buy something that's going to only appreciate, using the neighborhood as something that pumps us up. Right. If you guys are getting bored, let me know, please. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Okay, are y'all, everybody's clear on what's happening here? Has he said anything that, you're like, what is that? But I want to ask the question. Y'all had any of that? Anybody?
So we are with you guys all day, so we'll be having a short break for snacks later on as well, and then we'll continue again once these two pretty ladies can come back up. I usually do the map stuff, it's a little boring, but it's interesting for me. Okay. Now I pinpointed the two very hot areas, which is Emirates Hills and Dubai Hills. And just in that vicinity, we have this nice little area called Jumeirah Village Circle. JVC is one of the highest trading locations for any kind of property. A lot of investors come in and buy properties here because they want to put it on rent to make passive income, utilize that for their lifestyle, for their kids, for their schools, education, and so on. Properties here can be acquired for as low as 200,000 US dollars, paid over a period of 4 to 5 years.
Pause. Now, with him showing all those places, you see the vicinity. What is going to happen to these properties that are right now $200,000? They're going over the next 5 years. And I think, where is the biggest airport in the world being built in Dubai? How close is that to there?
You're about a 15-minute drive.
15? Okay.
So that's the location, JVC. We call it Jumeirah Village Circle. You take this highway, take an exit here, drive straight down, and that's your airport.
And that's the new one.
That's the new one. So they're going to tear down the airport you all probably landed at in the next 5 years.
Yes. They're tearing it down.
So,
And that one is innovative already. And this one that's coming up looks like the future. Yeah, you don't need a passport. Nothing. You just walk through this everybody and go in on. Yeah.
sorry, we're used to tearing down a lot of things. So the current airport has 3 terminals. There's Terminal 1, which is for all the other airlines. There's Terminal 2 for a lot of the low-end carriers. And you have Terminal 3, which has Emirates. So their plan is to tear down all the 3 terminals, remove the 2 runways that we have, and move it down here, where we're going to build 6 runways and 1 terminal to manage all the airlines. Because currently, where the airport sits today is, if you see this strip here, that's our airport today, and that's right in the middle of the city. That's prime real estate. So I'm sure they're waiting to tear it down. So we are in about 15 minutes proximity to the new airport, which is a great hotspot. A lot of people, a lot of businesses are going to continue setting up shop here. We already have a commercial facility, which I'll just zoom in to show you. So all of this is the headquarters, as well as a lot of warehousing complexes and so on. So a lot more new jobs are going to be coming into that area. So people want to live close by, somewhere in the center, where they can also visit Burj Khalifa and Dubai Mall whenever they want to. And they can also come back to work on this side with ease, rather than driving for 45 minutes. Another thing about people in Dubai, we don't like to drive more than 20-25 minutes. We're lazy, sorry. But the city just spoils us, so I've been here for more than 3 decades. And if you ask me to drive more than 30 minutes, I'll make a face. All right, so JVC is a great hotspot, which my wife is going to be highlighting, and Akanksha is going to be highlighting later on. But I'm not going to dive in too deep because that'll just bore you guys. There's also another hotspot that we're looking at, which is right on the Dubai Autodrome. Now, the Autodrome is a racetrack which has been in Dubai for quite a few years. You have the F2 races and the F3 races that take place here. Also, just to let you know that they'll highlight later, there's a beautiful property coming up right in the middle of it. So something to keep in mind for short-term rentals, for guests flying in, and whenever you guys fly in, if y'all decide, y'all can live in there yourselves. Now, a few things that I mentioned in terms of the upkeep of a property, as well as the USPs around it, right? So you have this shopping mall sitting in about 10 minutes proximity to JVC, and another 10 minutes proximity to the Autodrome, right? Those are 2 important points. People here love shopping malls. So a lot of tourists, when they come to town, they prefer to be close to shopping centers. You're also just 15 minutes away by this road to the Palm Jumeirah, as well as Dubai Marina and JBR, where we're at right now. So 15 minutes drive time is fantastic to keep in mind. Also, you are in the neighborhood of some of the most expensive areas, which is your Emirates Hills as well as Dubai Hills. Another thing to keep in mind when we buy properties is commercial districts. How far are they from the property that I'm buying? Because that's my business, right? These are the people who are going to come and rent from me. So if I just go next to the Palm Jumeirah, there's this area called Dubai Internet City and Dubai Media City. Now, I want you guys to concentrate for another 2-3 minutes because I'm going to pinpoint some really, really hot locations, right? If I go into Dubai Media City and Dubai Internet City, just to pinpoint some of the names, I have Canon Middle East with their headquarters here. I've got Microsoft, Oracle, Motorola, IBM, That's just a few of them. And if I move down to the other side, which is Dubai Internet City, I've got big names like Tata Consultancy, the guys who own Land Rover right now. They have their headquarters here. You've got Aramix also having a headquarters here. And if I move up just a little bit, I've got Google with their Middle East headquarters, as well as Cisco Systems, which is right here. I also sit in the vicinity of an area called Knowledge Village Park. All of this that I'm highlighting is Knowledge Village. You've got more than 20 universities here where students come from all across the globe to study. You zoom in just a few of the names. One of the universities I dropped out of is Wollongong, which is somewhere here. You've got Murdoch University, Middlesex University, Manipal University, and so on. So you've got the whole Knowledge Village area next to you. You've got the Palm and the Island and JBR, where we're at, as well as Dubai Internet City and Media City, which is one of the biggest hubs where a lot of people come to work. And a lot of the companies invite their employees to come on consultation basis, like for a short period of time, let's say 3 months to 6 months. So they come, they set up systems, and they fly back. If I were to just look for schools in the area, you'll see a whole bunch of red caps pop up. And JVC, Jumeirah Village Circle, is right next to it. So all of these are schools in the vicinity, which helps build demand and attract more people to come and stay here. Either you choose to do long-term rental or short-term rental. I hope we're clear so far. Awesome. I hope you guys are not getting bored. Superb, I love it. And now that we covered all the mainland areas, there is one more area that we like to highlight, which is currently under the radar, and not a lot of people are still understanding the concept of it. It's about an hour's drive from Dubai. It gives me a beachfront lifestyle. It's on a very private island, and it's right next to the Wynn Casino Island, which is here. So just to give
Okay, the wind, did you hear that? Okay, see, Dubai's got this project called basically, they're going to upstage Las Vegas. And so they went into a contract and they're about to build Vegas on steroids. And this is what you're talking about, right? Right back by here. It's an hour away from JBR.
1 hour away from Dubai, yeah. Maybe 1 hour 20 from JBR. Okay. Just to give you a perspective, the Marjan Island consists of 4 islands. So that's where the Wynn Casino is going to be. The construction's already up full-fledged. They're, I think, about 30 to 40% completed. You have this island here. You have another island here, and the last island is here. You're going to have a mix of hotels, resorts, and residential buildings. A lot of tourists are going to come to Dubai to access the casino. Now, not everyone gets a visa to the US, sadly. So a lot of people want a different place to go to, so they can come here. The prices on the island of the Wynn Casino are a little bit on the higher side. So we're looking at about, I want to say 2.2, 2.3 million in local currency, in dirham value, for a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So we feel that's a little bit on the higher side. I think it's around 600,000, around 600, 650,000 US dollars, which we feel is slightly higher. What we did was we found this little island right next to it. So that's the stretch of the island that goes all the way around. It's a very private island belonging to one builder, one developer, who's going to develop the entire area. They've set up multiple areas in the Dubai city, which they will be touching on later on.
Who is the developer?
The developer is Shobha, S-O-B-H-A. A very popular developer here in the UAE. They are from the Indian origin, but their family is very well established here. So they are building a very private island with apartments starting as low as, I want to say, 320,000 US. Lesser than that? Okay, so less than about $300,000 where you can acquire a similar property for half the price, and you sit less than 5 minutes away by boat to the casino, as well as you have land access from here. So there's a nice little road that is set up which can take you onto and off the island, and they will have more roads connecting to the mainland where people can either drive or take a ferry down to the island, and as well as air taxis, which is going to be coming in the future.
Okay, listen to me. And when he say the future, he's talking about tomorrow. They already got them. They already done because Dubai's going to have all of that before. Now we got some smart cities that's going to turn into smart cities, like going to do sections of New York, sections of LA, probably maybe San Fran, but it's going to start in the big cities first. But here, we're going to see this here, which is going to do nothing but make everything go through as far as price. Now, they haven't got to this part yet, but I'm telling you, if you can, first of all, you can. You can. Even if it's just a studio, get some. And those of you, because in America, what's in our mind, you know, those of us that lease, you think they make you feel like you're less than the owner. But now, the tables have changed in America. The owners are losing everything because now all of a sudden their mortgages have doubled. These insurances and what's happened with inflation. So if you're in the place where you say, I want to buy me a house one day, push one day to 15 years away and now invest, make the money to get that cash if you want to. This is what I think is the most stable investment. Me and some of my millionaire, quote unquote, friends, they're into crypto. I get it. I made some money in that. But you should also be looking at something a little bit more predictable and stable like land, real estate.
Thank you for that, Larry. One more point I wanted to identify and bring it out to you guys, and this is important. You can utilize part of the payment plan that the developer gives you, let's say 40% or 50% of the property value, until you get your keys. Now, as a non-resident of the UAE, of Dubai, they've made it so simple for people that you can transfer your credit score from the US down to Dubai. So once your property is ready, you can just apply to the bank, and even though you're non-resident over here yet, you're still on your US passport, US citizenship, they allow you 50% of the property value to get a mortgage on, which you can pay for, 20, 25 years if your age allows. So these are a couple of benefits here. And I hope that was informative. Would you guys like a coffee break? Yeah, we can take a quick 10-minute break and then huddle back in, and then once one of my colleagues will take over from there. If you guys want to talk to us, we are all available outside with you guys, yeah? Thank you.
right, we're about to get started. Somebody close that door, please. You ready? Oh, yeah. All right, we're about to get some more information. Have you been enjoying it so far? Everybody understand? I think everybody knows each other because of the different places we've been, but there are a few that I don't think everybody is familiar with. Okay, Standard, this is your first time coming to a Celestial Circle event or stakeholder event. I already see who you is. That's Joshua. What's your name? Pretty light skin. What's your name? There's somebody sitting beside you. Who? Deanne. They say blondes have a lot of fun. Tell everybody your name. Juanita George. Them beautiful locks. What's your name? Sharice. And I think everybody knows, right? You see anybody you don't know? Okay, yeah, everybody knows. So, welcome. Now, this is what we're about to do now. We're about to hear from Z's wife, and she's going to be better than him. It's just how it is. And her name is my ex-wife name, Alicia. And so she's about to come and present. Now, when they start breaking it down, because that's when a key comes, and they start breaking it down and get these numbers, they're going to start at the top, and then they're going to go down there to where I started. But I want everybody to put in your mind, okay, repeat after me, and say, I have purchased a studio. Okay. I mean, that's at least. There's nobody in here that can't buy one because the way that it's set up. And you'll see, like, wait a minute, this is doable and I can do this. Now, you may have to make some adjustments like I made, and I'm glad I did. I don't know if you're going to do it as extreme as I did, but you may, and it will pay off. I was paying, oh Jesus, I'm about ashamed to say, at one time, about $12,000 a month in car payments. Stupid. Just stupid. And I changed all of that so that I can begin to go in the direction that I wanted to go. I'm going to work my whole life, but I don't want to have to work after 56. Yeah. So that means I need about 100 million. I can really do 50, but I'm pushing it. 100 million in property and income producing assets. So that's where all of our mind needs to be. Not on how great of a car you're driving for right now in front of your friends and the neighborhood and zip code you got and how many bedrooms. That don't matter right now. What matters is the future. And the future is now. All right, so let's go. Alicia, give her a hand clap.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Larry, thank you so much. I must start by saying that what I heard today morning was one of the most positive, one of the most inclusive, and one of the best prayers in a really, really long time. And honest to God, it has set the tone for the entire day. I feel happy in my heart, so it's good. Thank you for that. Right. And thank you for the morning presentation as well. We'll dive into Shobha Realty with me. Now, most of you all don't know, but I used to work with Shobha Realty for 2 years before Zoeb and I started our company together. So I have worked with them, and then we have my colleague from Shobha that's joining us. She will be here throughout the day for anybody that wants to have any one-on-one discussions with her, understand anything more in detail beyond what we talk about in the presentation. So that's available to us as well. Just a little bit about Shobha Realty. Shobha Realty, like Z mentioned before, has been started by an Indian family. They were based in Oman in the 1970s, and they started out doing palaces and mosques for the royal family of Oman. The Sultan of Oman was so happy with the quality of workmanship that these guys were doing that they literally gave them the Omani citizenship, which in the 70s was unheard of, because even today, for an Indian citizen to be offered a citizenship of any Arab countries in the Middle East is quite unheard of. They do give us residency visas, but not citizenship. But this gentleman and his family are actually Omani citizens, but with an Indian heritage. They expanded their footprint into the UAE back in 2003, and as of 2025, they have 10 different projects running simultaneously all around the UAE. Their first community, which is Shobha Heartland 1, okay, is right about here. So this community that you see over here is their first flagship community. This is completely ready today. It was launched back in 2014, and today is about 80% handed over. There's people living there, there are 2 schools, there are hospitals, there are mosques, and so on and so forth within that community. The 2 communities of Shobhas that we will be talking about, one of them is called Shobha Solace, which is right next to the Autodrome, what he showed us on Google Maps. And the second one that we'll be talking about is Shobha Senior Island over here, which is the location we saw, which was about 5 minutes away from the Wynn Casino in Ras Al Khaimah at Marjan Island. So both these locations are being done up by Shobha themselves. Now, one of the reasons why we're picking Shobha as a developer to work with and recommend their product to you guys is for a variety of reasons. First and foremost being that with Shobha, they do not believe in the concept of just making an individual building. What they do is they make a collection of a community. So most of their buildings are a part of a larger community that attracts family audiences. So they have everything from schools to hospitals to malls to retail shopping spaces to kindergartens to nurseries for children and so on and so forth within the community itself, and landscape gardens, community centers, healthcare facilities, and so on. What this essentially does is, as an investor, it provides a good hedge, because what happens is, now that you see in Dubai, where more and more families are moving in, people want to live in 15-minute cities. I want everything close to where I live. I want to sit in my balcony and I want to look at my child walking to school. I want that my nanny should walk to school, bring back my child while me and my wife can sit in the balcony and watch them come up. I have elderly parents visiting, but I have to go to work. I want that there is a walking track downstairs. My parents can go for a walk, enjoy themselves, come back up, not have to worry. So these are the kind of spaces that Shobha provides, and that's why we feel confident working with Shobha. The second thing why we like to work with Shobha, especially for our overseas clients, is also because Shobha provides an end-to-end solution, especially when it comes to short-term rentals. So Shobha currently has what you call a buy, rent, and manage model, where once you buy an apartment with Shobha, they do the management of your property once it's ready. They furnish it for you, meaning they put in the furniture. They list it on all kinds of Airbnb platforms, so Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, Trivago, all of these different platforms. They list it for you. They manage it for you. They make sure that your guests check in on time. They make sure that the guests check out on time. They do the repairs. They do the maintenance. They do everything. They send you the monthly reports. They change the linens. They change the curtains. They do all of this while you get to relax wherever you are in the world, and your rental income gets credited to your bank account directly. Yes?
This is terribly important. Who in here do Airbnbs in America? I think Erica and who else?
taken at about 10 o'clock.
It's already talking about, okay, it's taking us too long to get places.
The full, you will have a full bath over here, and then you go in. You see this little thing over here. That's the utility closet where your washing and drying area goes. You have the fridge over here and the kitchen, along with an open concept living dining area. And then here you have your bedroom with its wardrobe on this side, and then you have a balcony over here which you can access from the living room. Now you see these panels. These are 3.4 meter ceiling height, floor to ceiling glass windows, so you can literally enjoy the views from the comfort of your apartment, whether you're entertaining in the living room or you are chilling in your bedroom. So these are the kind of spaces that Shobha provides. These are what the renders will look like. Remember I mentioned to you all the sunken pool? So this is the sunken pool from outside, and this is the lounge on the inside. So people that are working from home, you can literally call your business associates, you can have your meetings from here, you can run your Google calls from here, your kids could be playing and you could be like chilling here working. That's your bedroom. Again, like I said, 3.4 meter ceiling height, floor to ceiling windows, edge to edge, for gorgeous views of the racetrack and the city greenery. And then this is what your living room and the kitchen dining area will look like. This is the kind of furniture. They're keeping it very neutral palette. So not only now, but over the next 10 years, whenever you want to refurbish, all you have to do is just change the upholstery. Just change the colors and you're good to go. Change the rug, the room looks as new. So, coming to the most important thing, which is the payment plan. Now, a one-bedroom apartment like what we just saw would cost somewhere around the $273,000 to $274,000 mark. How that payment plan is structured is at the time of booking or within the first 1 month of booking, you have to pay the initial 20%, which is in Dubai known as the down payment. This is what you have to pay to book the property in your name, which comes to about $55,000. Okay. Plus you pay an additional 4% DLD charge, which is a one-time fee paid to the Dubai Land Department to register the property in your name. Now this is a standard 4% charge that you have to pay whether we're looking at options from Shobha or any of the other options in Dubai as well. Anything that, even what Larry has invested in or what some of the other people in the group have invested in, everybody has had to pay a 4% DLD charge. It's a one-time registration fee.
Well, not me. On one property, am I right, Aki? Mine got waived because I got in very early. So they waived my 4%, correct?
No.
Okay. Say it again. Okay, not with Aki. I got 3. I got 2 with her. So on my other one, that was waived. The 4% was waived because I was like one of the first ones to get in.
Correct.
So that can happen to where you don't end up having to pay that. And Aki allowed me to pay my down payment on one of the properties, I think, over a period of time.
Mm-hmm. That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I paid my 20% over a period of time, and to get to that 54. Depends on how much property you buy, determines that number. So whatever that was, I paid mine over a period of time.
Correct. So the 20% with Shobha can be paid over the first 1 month, but we can, of course, so when you book the property, you pay the 10%, and then for the next 10%, you have about 30 to 40 days to make the. So that's something that we can do, where you have the flexibility to pay the initial 20% over a period of 30 to 40 days.
Don't let. There's a certain thing that can happen in your mind when you look at a number and disappear. Look at that number. Don't be scared of that number. And disappear all fear and anything that enters your mind and says, I can't do that. In America cannot run without our black dollars. In fact, if we stop buying from white and everybody else, the whole economy falls. So a little is a lot. So you have to look at that number and say, okay, $54,000 even if you make 75 or less, you're going through tens of thousands of dollars every month just to live a certain kind of life. Money you will never get back. And so you have to disappear, whatever kind of, well, I can't do that. Don't, that's not true. That's your brain that has been conditioned by the way that our country operates. You can do that. And you just have to make a plan. And then also, let's suppose you got 3 friends who want to do this. And you're doing the first 10%, and you split that up between your 3 friends. And y'all make that payment. Then 40 days later, they say 30, but sometimes they'll give you 45. And trust me, I did it. And so I did 160. So the next payment y'all do together, after that, it's registered with the government. It's yours. They know that you own property here in the UAE. So it can be done. Disappear. Don't be scared of, don't look at it and disappear all fear or anything, because you can do it.
Thank you, Larry. That's very inspiring.
Sorry, I just wanted to intervene real quick. Because of our relationship that we have with the developers, and we are a little popular on social media, so we get our way through sometimes, we can even assist in booking these properties with a booking fee of just 2%. So just a little cherry on top.
Say it one more time, Z. Be real clear.
Sorry, what did you want me to say?
Rick, what you just said, almost some people heard what you said.
Oh, sorry. So we have really good relations with the builder, and we can push our weight around, and we've assisted a lot of clients to just book the property with a small down payment of just 2%. So you don't need to go the whole 10% or 24% right away. Book it with 2%. We'll buy you some time and give you that flexibility to finish the balance payments over 30, 45 days sometimes.
Okay, everybody got that?
Is that cool?
But remember this, because this happened with Junior. Once you sign the paperwork as an American citizen, you don't get no money back. So you got to go ahead and make up your mind. I am going to do this. Because once you get in it, once you sign that, the first thing they're going to do once you pay that little piece of money, they're going to say, sign this. And once you sign that, that's it. You'll get a refund. And as an American, when you wiring from your bank into XRP, do what the hell it's supposed to do. You can't, we don't have IBAN numbers. They have that here, IBAN, I think is what it's called. In order for us to send them money, once we send them that money, we don't have an IBAN number to even get it back to you. If you haven't signed your paperwork, you have to go through a lot of red tape. You and them, which they don't get paid to go through that time with you. You know, so you have to have your mind already made up, because you can't get your money, even if you haven't signed. It's not going to be easy. You probably have to ask me to put it in one of my overseas accounts and get it to you, because you can't, we don't have our bank system don't even have the capability to accept that back. Because we have SWIFT code, but they have to have an IBAN. Our banks don't have that.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. You have the date, completion date by December 27. Is that the year 2027?
That's correct.
Okay, just confirm.
Yes.
Right, and that's the great thing. I'm glad you pointed
that's
that
what
out. Because you got to think, this is pre-construction, so a lot of this stuff ain't gonna be ready till later. So that's why your payment plan, look at that, October the 24th, and then after you get that 20 plus 24% paid, your next payment ain't until April of the next year. Yeah. That's how that works. That's how you end up paying it down.
Yes.
Right.
So from whichever date of booking, so let's assume today we're on the 28th of January. Let's assume that our date of booking, for instance, is the 31st of January, just to make it easy for calculation, or say 1st of January. So let's say we book this property on the 1st of January. Our next payment is only after 6 months, which would be 1st of June 2025. And then our next 10% would be the next 6 months. So that would be December 2025. And then we would pay in the next 10% would be in June 2026, and the next 10% would be in December 2026. And that's how we complete 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60% payment. So by December 2026, our entire 60% payment is completely finished, and then we sit back and relax for the entire year of 2027. So if you notice from here, after 24 months from booking, we don't have any payment. So the entire year of 2027, we don't make any payment. And then in December 2027, when the property is ready for us to take the keys off, that is when we pay the remaining 40%, which is at the time of handover in December 27.
Now, if I'm correct with certain properties, at that, when you get to the 24-month, when you about, what's that, 50, 20?
60%.
60%. Some properties you can do this at 50%, if I'm not mistaken, at 50 or 60%. You can end up, they can end up with a handover then with keys, and then you can go to the bank and get the money, or you can put a tenant in there to continue to make your payments. Because if you move a tenant in, like she said, you got a whole year to sit back, you can get a tenant because it's yearly rent, and they give you a lump, and you can take that and pay it all. You just got to how that thing work. So she's just doing this property, and this is a property that's a 1-bedroom, looks like, but the studios aren't as much, so these numbers will go down.
Correct.
And that all depends on the building, how much the apartment is. So you get to decide how much of an investment you want to make, whether studio, a 1-bedroom with a study, 2, 3 townhouse, you get to decide.
Yeah.
So on completion, after the 109, like Larry just said, you can get a tenant. What is the monthly fees that's charged by Shoba to manage it for you once you pay for the whole apartment?
So Shoba charges anywhere from 17 up to 19 dirhams per square foot per year. So it's not a monthly payment that they charge you. So for instance, in this case, if the square foot is 632, and can somebody do the math? So can you do 632 into 19? I'm calculating the upper. So that's about 10,000 dirhams, which comes to roughly about $2,500 is what you would pay for the whole year to manage the apartment for you. That's correct.
And you're collecting whatever you're charging monthly?
Correct.
Okay.
And then you collect whatever you're paying monthly for the property, but that's not bad at all. Plus, the reason why Shoba gives you a range is because currently the property is under construction. This is how fair the government in this country is. So Shoba as a developer, how do we make sure that Shoba as a developer is not overcharging us for maintenance charges? Right? That's a fair question, right? So what the government does is, the government here does not allow the builders or the developers to decide what the maintenance charges will be. That's why this building, because this is under construction, Shoba is giving us a range. It can be 17, it can be 18, or it can be 19. Once the building is completely constructed, the Dubai Land Department will come and do an inspection. They will see the kind of construction that Shoba has done. If they have delivered on all the amenities the way they are saying, if they have delivered the amenities, the lobby, the elevators and everything the way they were supposed to, then they will allow them to charge 19 dirhams. If they say, no, not satisfactory, bring down the service charges. Not satisfactory, bring down the service charges. So the land department decides how much the service charges will be, not the developer. And this is true for all developers, not just Shoba. So this way you know that at every stage of your investment game, the government knows what you're doing and they know what you're paying for. And they will make sure that you're not overpaying for anything at any stage. Yeah. Any questions so far for Shoba Solis? I'm quickly going to run you guys through a video of the actual views of what the Autodrome looks like.
So the gym that's with this property is done by Arsenal.
Yes.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Cause you were saying I couldn't figure that. Okay, got it. So that's almost like LA Fitness or Planet Fitness setting up in our apartment a gym. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, well, Equinox, that's pretty popular.
Yes.
So, quick question about the 17 to 19%. In situations where the fee isn't at the 19%, is it because that the deliverable didn't match the outcome? Is that pretty much why? Or would there be a situation where some improvements or upgrades or fixes would have to be made, and that's why it was not at the 19%?
No, it's basically because if the DLD determines that in that area, if all the other developers are charging 17 to 18 dirhams and still giving the same kind of facilities, then this developer also has to charge 17 to 18 dirhams. It's not 17 to 19%, it's 17 to 19 dirhams, yeah? So they don't want that in one area, like for instance, they don't want one building to charge 50 dirhams and the other building to charge 10 dirhams, right? So they want to make sure that the entire area is on the same par.
It's the same idea like comps in America. We call them comps. So if my house is 4 million, and I don't care if you put a statue of Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, all of that in your house and it's all beautiful. You sit beside my house 4 million, you can't charge 10 million. You know, so it's a comp.
Correct.
Comparable thing.
Yeah. Any other questions so far for yes, ma'am.
The DLD, is that able to be paid over a time period, or it has to be paid exactly when you do the booking fee?
So you have about 30 to 45 days to make the 4% DLD payment as well. Not just with this property, but with any property. It's essential that the 4% DLD charges, unless that there is a situation where the developer is offering a waiver from their side, it's always better to pay your DLD upfront, because when you pay the DLD charges, that's when the property is registered in the land department in your name. And against that is where you get your executed SPA, which is the sale purchase agreement. So that's your proof of ownership. So
that sale purchase agreement, it takes about 40 days. I'm waiting on one of mine, I think.
Yeah.
It takes a while. And once you get that's like in America, it's almost like when your deed gets registered. You know, so once that happens, that thing is the government, oh, this is yours, you know.
Yeah.
And like you can then do some things here in the UAE, like get you a bank account.
Correct.
Because that's your proof that you have property here, and you can start benefiting sort of like the citizens do, at least like the residents, those that have residency.
That's very important, Larry, what you just said, because once you have your sale purchase agreement, in the US it's what you guys call a title, except here we don't call it a title as yet because the property is under construction. So there will only be a title once the property is ready, but right now, because it's under construction, you still need to have proof of ownership. That's why it's called an SPA. Once you have your SPA, only then you're able to unlock all the other benefits that come along with property purchases, like your visas. So you're able to apply for your residency visa on the basis of your SPA document. You're able to open up a bank account once you have your SPA. You're able to once you get your UAE residency, and this is something that Zoeb forgot to mention in his morning presentation, but having a residency in the UAE tackles one of the other major challenges that you guys have in the US, which is affordability and inaccessibility of healthcare. So in Dubai, in UAE, we have excellent insurance companies. We have major healthcare facilities like Cleveland Clinic, Mediclinic. We also have King's College Hospital and so on that have their presence in the MENA region in Dubai. And having a residency visa allows you to apply for a medical insurance, which then allows you to get affordable access to healthcare with little to no co-payment, as unlike in the US. In the US, even insulin is really expensive if you don't have insurance.
I have that. And like if something was wrong with me, which I don't have nothing wrong with me. I'm in perfect health. But, I mean, it was about bigger, I had a little problem. But I'll come here.
Yeah.
I'll just fly from America and do whatever. And the truth be told, and I'm proud to be an American, but there are a lot of benefits. Their health care here is like you stepping into the Jetsons.
Yeah.
When I had to do some evaluation, oh, you went with me. It was like, where am I on the planet? This machine scanned my body and every organ and told me stuff that I wouldn't have found out in America until I'm sick, that they probably would have gave me medicine for and not fixed. They gave me I took the whole printout and put it in Chat GPT, which I need to put it in DeepSeek. Y'all got DeepSeek? Yeah, just download it. It makes Chat GPT look like it's stupid. It's made by China. And that's why everybody's crypto that fell in here, it fell because of DeepSeek. It just got released, and it took them billions of dollars to make ChatGPT. China made this using chips that are not as intelligent for millions. So it killed us. So we got to find another way to outsmart the Chinese, which is going to be difficult. But that healthcare thing, that piece, I mean, most everybody here I'm pretty sure is pretty healthy. But at some point in time, things just happen, especially eating American food. It's almost set up where you get sick around about between 60s and 70s. So that is a huge thing. Because once you get that SPA, what you call it?
Yeah.
You take that and you can start getting these benefits for a little bit of money, and that's a great plus.
Yeah. Like, I mean, to be very honest, my own father moved here last year. My father is 82 years old, God bless him. But I wasn't able to get insurance for him back in India because of his age, because the insurance companies in India do not insure anybody above the age of 65. Yeah, they will not issue new policies above the age of 65. So I couldn't get an insurance policy for my father. But in UAE, it's compulsory that everybody who has a residency visa has to have medical insurance. Like, you cannot have a residency visa without having insurance. So when I got residency visa for my dad, we were able to get him insurance policy here. So now if anything happens to my dad, God forbid, he has access to world-class healthcare facilities over here without me having to break my bank for it or riddling up debt. So, yes.
So when you were talking about far as the final payment, the 40%, and you say you take the year off, is it possible to still make payments, like to pay down the 109 fee, the 40%, without taking the year off? Even though I know you guys have it set that you can take the year off, but can you still make payments? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you mean instead of deferring the payment to 27, you want to pay in the entire year of 2027?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. No developer is going to say no when you're giving them extra money. No one.
And you can also go to the bank here and get a loan.
Yes.
Right.
So as long as you finish your 60% payment and the property is ready for handover, you can just take the property document, go to the bank and tell the bank, look, this is the property that I bought. When I bought it, it was worth $274,000. I have to pay 40% to the bank. How much are you willing to give me? Now, if you've already got your residency visa sorted out by then, because remember, this is going to be in December 2027. As a resident of UAE, you're allowed to get 70 to 80% mortgage on your first property, okay, depending on factors like your age and bank financials. And as a non-resident, you're allowed to get up to 50%. But the catch here is, and I was talking to somebody about it, I was talking to you about it, correct? Yes. The catch here is, although you bought the property at $274,000 today, that is the value of the property today when it's not ready. But in December 2027, the property is going to be completely ready. Now, just take into account inflation, cost of construction, and the fact that there is a physical asset now. If the bank evaluates your property even at bare minimum $350,000, you will be eligible to get 50% or 70% or 80% of that amount, not of $274,000. So what would happen essentially is you cash out equity from your property at the time of handover, you pay off the remaining 40% to Shobha if you like, and the extra money that you're left with, you can use that as down payment towards your next property.
Now, mind you, you're still getting money if you move the tenant in.
Correct. You still get money if you move. Yeah.
That's separate from all of the
Yeah,
money.
that's separate from this.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the residency piece and purchasing the property and also talking about us possibly splitting it. Now, when you split it, whose name is the property going? Is that just a one person?
No.
Okay, so it can be multiple people that are, okay.
Correct. So for instance, if Zohaib and I bought a property together, and even though we're husband and wife, we can decide who will own how much percent of which property. So for instance, if he is financing 70%, he can write on the SPA that he wants to be 70% owner and I'm financing 30%, so I will be 30% owner. Or we can decide that we're husband and wife, so make it 50-50, or we're best friends, make it 50-50, whoever. That depends from person to person. Yes, so there is a maximum of 4 purchases allowed on every property purchase, and it can either be 25, 25, 25, 25, or it can be like 20, 30, and you know, whatever, like you get the idea.
Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, confess, because you know I like to figure stuff out and then tell y'all and walk it out. Who said, somebody asked me that or said something, no, Constance said it, and I didn't play with it in my mind. Once you just said, well, Martin just asked, I didn't know. That is, nobody should leave here without a plan or getting the property, because you can split it 4 ways. All these payments, and then everybody gets residency, everybody has ownership. That's power. And that's, who said partnership with me outside? Somebody was talking to me about that. Shannon.
So,
yeah.
Larry, just to clarify, everybody gets residency if they fulfill the requirement, yeah? Because the requirement for each individual person to be able to get a 2-year residency permit is a minimum investment of $750,000 US, which is about, dirhams, which is about $210,000 US. So you can have your name and say, for instance, you, me, and Zia buying a property together. We're all allowed to get a property together, but we will only be allowed to get residency if you have paid your share is 210,000, mine is 210, and his is 210.
So the property, it would need to be a property that is over 1.3
Correct.
million dirhams.
Correct.
Sorry, I just want to intervene there. So you could have, say, $50,000 under your name in the first property. She could have 50,000, I could have, sorry. But you could have a second property, and you can add to that 50,000 where you reach the 200,000, and you could apply for the visa. So it's not linked to just one apartment or one property that you have. You could have 4 of them that total up to that value, and you can apply for your residency visa.
Is everybody tracking this? Yeah, he said say it one more time. Okay, so you got to have at least $210,000 invested in the UAE in order for you to get a residency. So you're going to need to get a property. We got 4 people. Each person have to at least have invested $210,000. No, $210,000, not dirhams, in order to get residency. Now, let's suppose you ain't really focused on the residency. You handle all your stuff in America. It don't matter then. You're just trying to get your money. Yeah. But if you're trying to get residency, then that matters. But if you just want to get a studio and split it 4 ways and make residual income, you can do that too. But you can do that, like Zeke said, on 5 different properties. By then you'd be already over that 210. Now you can get your residency. Everybody, don't sit here and don't ask questions, y'all. If you don't understand, say, I don't get it, say it again. Everybody's good? All right.
One last thing I want to highlight, which is very important. Everyone is always wanting to make sure that their money goes in a safe space. So as a law from the UAE government, from the Dubai government, is that every builder that wishes to put out a property into the market, they need to have escrow in place. So all your money does not go into the developer's account. It goes into the escrow, which is regulated by the land department, the government, and the RERA, which is the Real Estate Regulatory Agency. They overlook everything, and even after construction is completed, over 1 year, 5% of your money is still sitting in that escrow. So this way they make sure that the builders deliver and deliver to their promises, because if they don't, then they get fined heavily.
And y'all know it's not like that across the board in America, right? Okay. Until you can get money from your tenants and go through it.
That actually was a question that I was pondering on asking, like from an insurance perspective, like when contractors are building, if we're actually investing basically, let's say something happened midway through construction, or something happens towards the end of construction, like because we can't get our money back if we cancel, like what happens if it's something on the builder's end, in reference to the money that maybe we've already invested into the property?
So if ever there were to be a situation like this, if I'll just break it down for you. Oh.
Quickly, just to answer that, typically the builders don't use your money to construct the building because the money goes in escrow. What that means is the escrow is controlled by the builder and the land department together. They're the joint owners of the escrow account. So the builder has to finish construction, say as per milestones. Once the builder finishes, say, construction of 20%, the land department will come and do an inspection. If they are satisfied that 20% construction has genuinely happened on the site, then they issue something called a progression payment certificate. Based on the progression payment certificate, the builder goes to the bank and says, hey, you know what, I finished constructing 20%, here's my payment progression certificate, can I have my 20% money? And then the bank releases 20% money to the developer. So the developer is not using your money to construct the property, the developer is using their own money to construct the property. Also, the government wants to make sure that the developer is good for their money. So before a developer is even allowed to start constructing any property, like for Shobha, for Solis, for instance, 100% land value of the project plus the 4% land registration cost of the land itself has been paid by Shobha to the land department to register the land in their name. Only after that are they allowed to announce the project.
Also, to add to that, they need to keep a 30% bank guarantee through a bank in the escrow account, which builds the confidence of the investor, because Dubai lives on expats, right? The local population is barely anything. So expats are the one who are investing here, like we ourselves are investors here. And this is what has helped build our confidence in this city. So we know that our money is safe because we work hard for it, right?
Lorenzo, you missed a key part. I don't know if you heard it, where you're able to go into these investments in partnership. And you heard it? Yeah. I'll break it down right quick. So $273,000 the property cost. 4 of us said we're going to get this. We split all of the payment plan the whole way. You can have up to 4 owners in your name. Now, let's suppose you get a property that's high enough to where each split is $210,000. At that point, each person can apply for residency, which gives them access to the health care here as a resident. If you don't really care about getting over that 210% because you don't care about having the benefits of residency, I mean, you can do whatever you want to. It can be a place that's even less than this, and you can split it, and you still have your ownership. But doing it that way, you might want to do that 4, 5, or 6 times. You can do that too, as long as it's no longer than 4 owners. So was everybody clear on that? Because a lot of you single people might need to think about this.
Is it 4 owners are all each have their name on the property, or is it just one has one owner?
All 4. All 4.
You will have your name on the title. Okay. So that's your proof of ownership, yeah?
And with that SPA, you heard this part, but you get the SPA, and then you go to the bank, get the loan. Yeah.
But in you have your 4 names on there, but you privately have to do your contract because when the money comes in, you have to do your distribution. So you're gonna have to do a private contract between the 4 of how that money is distributed. You have someone administer over that. Just one more question, if it's okay. I know you started off at 1 bedrooms. Will you be showing the studios, and do you have 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath as well to show?
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah, so each developer is different. We will be talking about studios as well in the presentation that Aki will be giving us with Shobha, because they are a master developer. They cater to family-friendly communities and they do master communities. They do not believe in the concept of studios because they're trying to cater to a family audience. So their basic offering is a 1 bedroom, which is why I showed you guys a 1 bedroom option. But we do have options of one bedroom, 1.5 bath as well, correct? And we also have options of 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath, and 1.5 bedroom. Yeah. So Natalie has some printed out options also with her, and we can talk to her after this presentation is done. But there are other options that she can help us with.
Sorry, also to answer that earlier question of yours, in terms of the earnings, how they would be split. So when it comes to long-term rentals, Aki here will be representing y'all and taking care of all of that. So whatever money comes in will be split equally amongst the, let's say, 4 people on the title. And if you do a short-term rental, as it's mentioned on the title and the agreement which will be signed, each individual person will be distributed their share automatically from the management company. Yeah?
And that's what I was trying to say. Now, in America, like what you said, we would have to all get our lawyers to all get involved to then do this paperwork. But they're doing it from their end, and the government knows the percentage. I'm telling y'all, when it comes to how our country, I mean, I'm proud to be an American, but you can't. There is just certain things in comparison to UAE. There is no comparison.
I just wanted to know exactly what the SBA stood for, like what's the?
It's sale purchase agreement.
Yes, so it's just like
It's
just
contract.
proof that it's yours, and you can take that. That's what I'm waiting on for one of my properties. They take a while for them to get about 45 days, so that I can go to the bank and open up an account using that property as my address. Because you can't open up an account with the banks that matter here without a proof of address, and the SPA will prove that.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So say for instance, I wanted to purchase this property with 4 other people, but I saw something, I say, hey, I want to get out of this. So how can I get out of this property with the 4 other people? Would they have to buy me out?
So it's not, and that's a really good question. I'm glad you brought that out. When you buy the property, if it's a joint purchase between you and your friends, of course, they would have the first priority where they decide that, hey, you know what, I want to exit. This is the current market rate right now. Do you guys want to buy me out? And either 1, 2, or all 3 of them have the option to buy you out. If you don't want to do that, since your name is on the title itself, on the main title, you also have the option to sell it to a willing 5th party of your choice, and they would just be buying your share of the property essentially. Can we move on to the next project? All right. I hope I haven't been boring. No. Okay, okay, right hand if Zoeb was more interesting, left hand if I'm more interesting. Oh, there you go, both. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm glad.
Just because you look better.
Hey, thanks. All right. Moving over to Senior Island. Now, this is the property that we'll be talking about, which is located 10 minutes away from the Wynn Casino. So this is coming up where Ras Al Khaimah is. I'm sure there's a lot of you all that have heard of Ras Al Khaimah, where the casino is coming up. And this island, the entire island is known as Senia Island. So if you see, just to kind of give you guys heads up, this is Marjan Island. This is the location of the Wynn Casino. And this entire development over here is called Senia Island. Now, Senia Island is by itself a 90 million square feet. This is what it looks like. It's a natural island. It looks beautiful. The entire development is 90 million square feet in size, but currently only 22 million square feet is being developed. What makes it so special, even better than Marjan Island, where the Wynn Casino is coming up, if you see Marjan Island, there's a whole bunch of developers that's doing their own thing. So for instance, I decide one day that I want to be a developer and I can afford to put up a 50-story building. And then the day after, Aki decides that she wants to be a developer and she can put up a 70-story building. And then the day after that, Zoeb decides that he wants to be a developer and he can put up a 80-story building. So it's literally going to be a haphazard collection of buildings of every developer trying to flex their muscle and show who's the bigger party there. Whereas with Senia Island, this one is going to be an exclusive single developer developed island where only Shobha is developing 22 million square feet of land. This is in, they're joining hands with the royal family of that emirate and they're doing that development. Why that benefits us as an investor is because when a single developer is making a master community of that magnitude, they have plans from day one, in the sense that if you see even how this property is set up, they've left area for 2 world-class resorts that they will be doing. So Shobha will be building the buildings for 2 5-star resorts, say something like the St. Regis or something like Six Senses, or even something along the lines of bigger, like the Hiltons or the Marriotts. Like they will be bringing in big branded hotel and resorts over here. And then they're doing living spaces of 3 different kinds. Now, since all of you all have been in Dubai, the 3 areas that you all have heard of, one is Dubai Marina, which is the waterfront marina lifestyle. One is Palm Jumeirah, which is, of course, everybody knows Palm Jumeirah. And the third is JBR, where you guys have all chosen to live, because this is what gives you access to water. And what Senia Island is offering is a combination of all these 3 areas. So they are doing beach residences, which is something like what JBR offers, beach residences by the beach. Then they're doing marina residences, which will be waterfront apartments with a yacht marina that Shobha is building. And then you have beach villas, which is where they're doing bigger villas and mansions, something like what these guys have done at Palm Jumeirah. So at Senia Island, they're combining the 3 best elements of Dubai under one big master development. And this is what the entire development will look like. If you even see, they have left a whole lot of islands here free for just green spaces. So they're not overbuilding it, they're not overpopulating it, they're keeping it very exclusive, very clean. They want to attract lesser people, but they want to attract the best, the creme de la creme. So it's going to be like south of France or Amalfi Coast in Italy, that kind of a vibe within UAE. So something like the Hamptons even in the US, but in UAE.
Whenever you see green in Dubai, you really have to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because this is a desert.
Correct.
So the technology to maintain green, when you ever see what we do in American media, we try to scare everybody out of Dubai by those videos of massive rain. But see, what I'm saying is the desert. That's engineered. So they go up whenever a cloud forms, that's an opportunity. So scientifically, they go in and they drop it and feel and seed the cloud with salt, so that then it can rain. In order for this country, this city to exist, it takes so much science and technology. And that's why the energy here, you feel like it's so advanced, it's positive, you feel like dreaming, like you can do anything, because the city exists simply because of vision and innovation.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Coming to the location proximity, like we discussed in the last time as well. If we see, again, video, screenshots taken at 11:45 and 12:45, again, peak times during the day. This is the distance of Senior Island from the Dubai International Airport, which is about a 50-minute drive, 56 minutes. So it's about less than an hour's drive from T3, where you guys landed probably this time. And if you see the distance of Marjan Island to Senior Island today by road, when there isn't much infrastructure development, even today it's only 17 minutes. By boat from here till here is about a 5 to 7 minute boat ride. By the way, today also there are private boats and private helicopters that offer taxi services, and these exist already. Just about 2 weeks ago, Natalie was there visiting the island with some of her other colleagues, and she actually took a chopper ride from Marjan Island to visit Senior Island, right? And she was telling us about it, and she said it was beautiful. She sent me some videos, and she looked really good in it. Right? Yeah, right? She's like, it felt like we were in Maldives. That's the one island I haven't been to yet.
Going outside.
He'll take me to Senior Island.
Yeah, I'll take her to Senior Island.
Yes.
It's better.
One of the other things that also attracts us as a company and attracts our clients to Senior Islands is the fact that today Senior Island is offering what is the most affordable entry price point for natural waterfront properties in all of UAE. So if we look at prices in Palm Jebel Ali or Palm Jumeirah or Imar Beachfront, which Z told us about, any of these waterfront areas are trading upwards of, say, about between $1,000 to say about $2,000 between $1,000 to $1,500 per square foot.
Yeah, a lot more than that.
Upwards in that range of, we're looking at least $1,000 to $1,500, $1,800 per square foot. Whereas with Senior Island, we're looking at prices of less than $700 per square foot. We're looking at pricing in the range of $680 per square foot. So that is where we have scope for our money to grow, because in my mind, I always think it's easy for 1,800 to come down to 1,500, but it's difficult for 600 to go down to 400. 600 is easier to go up to 1,000, and that's where we make money essentially. Key facts about the community. Shoba is, like I said, it's a 90 million square feet community full of natural island. 22 million square feet is currently under development, which will have 2 world-class 5-star resorts, beach residences, villas, and marina residences. This is the yacht marina that Shoba will be building over here. So people with yachts can literally buy houses and park their boats at the bottom, come down, walk to the pier, sail out when they want to. This will be also, along at the yacht marina, will also be a boardwalk at the bottom where there will be F&B outlets, retail shopping, cafes, boulevard retail shopping experiences, as well as there will be a central mall, which will be the Shoba Senior Mall, which is again what Shoba is building. And they're building resort-style homes here, again with 1-bedroom apartments, 1+ study, 2-bedroom apartments, and some duplex apartments as well, as then bigger mansions and villas. Again, designed for families, designed for community-style living as a resort. So Shoba does not offer studios. They start offering 1-bedroom apartments, which make it ideal for short-term rentals. Even if somebody wants to go and stay there for a week, enjoy the casino, enjoy the beach lifestyle, tropical paradise, 1 bedroom fits at least 2 to 3 people. And again, these are fully furnished apartments as well. Along with the waterfront lifestyle, in true Dubai fashion, the 2 main communities that Z showed us in the map in the morning, one was Emirates Hills, the other one was Dubai Hills Estate. Both of them had a golf course. And over here also at Senior Island, Shoba is building a pitch and putt par 3 golf course. So it'll be an island golf course lifestyle along with a waterfront lifestyle where you will have adventure water sports like jet skiing, paddle boarding, kayaking, and so on. You will have a vibrant nightlife scene. You can go grab a drink from the cafes, restaurants, walk around at the boardwalk. And then you will have access to fitness centers, gyms, children's play areas, libraries, well-designed lobbies, multiple elevators, and so on and so forth. This is what the clubhouse will look like at the island. And again, the clubhouse will have amenities like a library lounge, a gym, a health club with steam and sauna, a multi-purpose hall. So if you want to have like your children's birthday parties, you want to have like an engagement party, you want to get married, there'll be like a wedding venue, and so on and so forth. This is what a typical one-bedroom apartment looks like at Senior Island. So as soon as you enter over here, you have your utility closet, which is where your washing machine goes. Then you have a separate powder room for your guests. You have an open concept kitchen and living dining area. Then you have your bedroom, wardrobe, and the ensuite bathroom. So what you guys were asking for, the 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath. This is the standard 1 bedroom for all apartments in Senior. And then you have this balcony right here, which can be accessed from your living room. So if you see, you have views from here in the bedroom, you have views from here in the living room, and you have views from here in the living room. So 3/4 of your house gives you water views. And again, you're looking at 3.4 meter long ceiling height, floor to ceiling windows, so maximum views for days. This is what the renders will look like. This is how the lobbies are designed. Again, neutral palettes, double height ceiling, massive pillars, plenty of natural sunlight coming in. This is going to be the water views from your living and dining areas. This is the pool deck from the buildings. These are what the buildings will look like, and they will be at the residence, at the beaches. Plus these are the F&B outlets and the boardwalk at the bottom. Same thing from here, you have the beach and the island. This is the bridge that will connect the island to the mainland. It's a 1.7 kilometer bridge. And then this is the central atrium from the lobbies.
Just to add, majority of the buildings have direct beach access. So if you're a lover of the water, great location to be at.
And either side. So normally what happens is, one of the things that we've been very careful to do in selecting projects for you guys today have been that all the projects that we have chosen, whichever side of the building we look at, they are all preferred views. So, yes.
What are the amenities fees per month? That was missing from each one as well.
Again, it's the same thing. So nobody charges you separate for amenities here. So your amenities are charged in the service fees, which is 17 to 19 dirhams per square foot per year.
Per year.
Correct.
And that's separate from the property management.
No, I'll get to the property management. So there's two charges. One is property management if you're doing short-term rentals with Shobha, and I will explain to you how that will work. The 17 to 19 dirhams per square foot is the service charges which you pay for maintaining the building, for using the amenities, for maintaining, like the garbage chute is maintained, the elevators are in working condition, the gardens, the pool, all of that. So HOA fees is what service charges are. Property management fees is what Shobha will charge to manage the short-term rentals. These are two different things. So,
the majority of the management fees would be coming out from the rental income that your property automatically generates. So it isn't that that money is coming out of your pocket directly,
correct,
indirectly, but from the rental income that the company will generate for you.
So it's coming out before you get your property.
Correct.
correct. So you only pay for the property management company if you choose to do short-term rentals with Shobha. Otherwise, you don't. Otherwise, what you only pay is the service charges for using all these amenities, which is 17 to 19 dirhams per square foot per year.
In my opinion, they're the experts. If you're going to get a 1 bedroom, 1.5, any of that, you need a long term, because it's more money, and also it's less hassle, and you don't have to do them other fees. If you get a studio, I would probably suggest an Airbnb setup type thing, but that's my thoughts. I don't know what their thoughts are concerning it. That would be the way that I look at it. What you got to say, Aki? What you think about that?
Yes, absolutely. Studios do great on short-term rentals on Airbnb model, but it also depends on where we are investing into. For example, something like a Senior Island, which is very close to the casinos, which is more like a vacation house. Even the 1 beds and the 2 beds are going to perform phenomenally on the Airbnb model. It's more of a project for a short-term rental than a long-term rental, because it's a vacation house for a lot of people. So people even working and living inside of Dubai, they go to Sinai Island or Marjan Island for like a long weekend, things like that. So it does splendidly well on the short-term model.
Yeah. Think of this as investing in Vegas, where nobody lives throughout the year, but you would always have tourists that come in throughout the year. Now, we get tourists from Europe especially. I don't understand how they do it, but Europeans love to come here in peak summer and be laying on the beaches. And me as an Indian, I just cannot understand how they do it because it's too hot. It's too hot.
Listen, and we have, we got sunblock up more than they do because we got melanin. It is hot. I'm telling you, have you ever been to Phoenix, Arizona when it's really hot? What do you think is worse? I think Phoenix may have been worse. Who went? Is it? I don't know. I stayed in the house. So when it's like that, we came here August.
Yeah.
And I said, I felt like I was being pranked. I said, this is not possible. It was like 104 degrees outside. And at night when you went out, no sun. I didn't come out till about 5 or 6. And a little skimpy spaghetti tank top. By the time I took about 100 steps, I was wet from head to toe. I mean, that's diabolical.
Yeah. Yeah. But I always say this. So I first came, the first time ever, fun fact, the first time I ever came to Dubai was in December 2013 when we got engaged. And of course the weather was like how it is right now, and I fell in love with the city, and I was like, this is going to be my home for the rest of my life, yay! And then we got married 6 months later in June 2014, and that was prime summer. And I told him, you have lied to me, you have cheated me, you showed me a different city, and now you brought me to a different city. So.
But the positive thing about it though, everything's so cheap at that time.
Yes.
We were able to stay in the same place we stay now, with the Sonder. I love the Sonder, but it was so cheap. And on the street, you can get anywhere in 5 minutes. Nobody comes out. Nobody comes outside. There was nobody that was out. Now I think what Dubai is going to do is what is done in. It's not in the UAE, but it's still in the Middle East. It's so hot there. I think they're going to end up building, because in the street they have air conditioning, to where although it is 100 and something degrees, it doesn't feel like it. They literally have air conditioning in the ground, in the city. What place is that? They're building that in an area called White. Oh, so they're building it here?
They're building it, yes.
Okay, wow. But is it in Yemen? Somewhere. Qatar. I think it's in Qatar. Somewhere in the Middle East, they already have that to where, because it's so hot, so you can continue to live.
Yeah. Coming to the payment plan for Shobha Senior. Shobha Senior also has a 60-40 payment plan. So you're paying 60% during construction over a period of 2 years, very similar like Solace. The only difference between Shobha Senior and Shobha Solace is that for Shobha Senior, the handover is in December 2028, correct? Oh, September 2028, as opposed to Shobha Solace, which is December 27. So this in fact gives you 1 year and 9 months of not making any payment after finishing your 40%, after finishing your 60% payment, before you have to pay the remaining 40%, which is at the time of handover. Prices.
But notice it's higher. I'm sure you noticed that. Your Black American mind saw that immediately. It's higher, but you do have a year and 9 months to do that last 40%.
Correct. It's higher because you're also buying a waterfront community as opposed to something in the city. Plus also it's slightly bigger in size as well. So that's why there's a difference in the pricing as well and the sizing. But otherwise, the payment plan is broken down in exactly the same way. You do your 20% within the first 30 to 45 days, like Larry said. Sometimes they let you stretch. Then you do your 4% DLD. Then you pay 6 months after that, 12 months after that, 18 months after that, and 24 months after that. So you pay in that manner, and then you finish your 60%. chill for 1 year and 9 months, and then pay the remaining 40% at the time of handover in December 2028. Any questions, guys? Oh,
Just know the prices are gonna get better as soon as a key get up there.
yes.
Uh,
And just to explain how the property management would work with Shobha, so this is how the property management or the short-term rental management would work with Shobha. The company is called Stay by Latinum. It is an arm of Shobha's. What they do is they charge you a 20% yearly fee of whatever the rental income you earn, okay? But they are responsible for end-to-end management of your property. What that means is they will, so as a landlord, they give you an owner dashboard as well as an app on your phone. They will do professional photography for your apartment. They do tourism licensing with DTCM, which is the Dubai Tourism Management Company. They do the daily pricing updates. They put your house on all the platforms, including Airbnb, hotels.com, booking.com, and so on. They are responsible for the housekeeping, the repairs and maintenance for the guest, and for vetting your guests as well. So they will make sure that they are not, letting your house to a bunch of party kids that are here on spring break and they'll trash your apartment. Like, that doesn't happen. For the guest services, they offer a world-class stay with luxury linens, premium amenities, personalized check-in and check-out, quick communication, and a seamless check-in, check-out living experience. And then, they take care of everything for you, but they charge a 20% fee of the entire money that you make in your short-term rental portfolio. Now, typically, if we're looking at Senior Island, we're looking at earning about 15 to 17% 15 to 17% annually as if you're doing short-term rentals on your property. 20% of that entire amount is what you would pay to Stay by Latinum. If there are multiple owners of the property like we discussed previously, all your bank details would be given to Stay, and as and when funds are ready for disbursal, they would put it in individual bank accounts then, so it's a hassle-free experience for everyone. And the same thing would apply for Shobha Solace as well. And let me quickly show you all a video of Senior Island as well.
Does anybody need coffee to stay up? Okay. All right. Okay. So we get a little break before I key?
Yeah.
So we got to get some coffee.
Yeah.
Sure, we can take a quick 5-minute break and then we can jump on to Aki's part.
Okay.
And then we have lunch upstairs, so please leave some room.
Okay. All right. We just need some coffee. Anybody need some coffee? This is amazing. Oh, so you got videos of the inside of it?
Oh, no. Oh. That was Aki stitching all the videos together so we can have a look at the entire thing together.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, so are you finished your presentation? Yes. Okay, let's give her a hand. I knew the women I knew the women were gonna do better. It's just the way they wire. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do, we have a key. This is where the prices get better. But please go get something to let you wake up because you don't need to miss it. This opportunity is not gonna happen a second time. All right.
Y'all want any other information, you'll want to get in touch with us through Instagram or whatever, you can just scan the QR codes and y'all are directly accessible to us right away.
Yeah, we little pressed for time because lunch upstairs stopped at 3. Kendall, tell everybody to come in. Ooh, Jesus. Say again. Okay, close the door. Close the door. All right, so we're gonna have to listen quick because this is the, in my opinion, this is you're gonna be getting the information that you're gonna want to hear right now because this is where you're gonna want to strike to hit your target. A key has helped me, the Dows, that's Constant and Michael, and also Alan and Denise Henry have helped us get invested into certain properties. Right after a key finish, we're gonna run upstairs real quick because it stops at 3. So we're gonna run upstairs real quick to get some food and get on a big bus and go see a property or two. And we'll be done by 6. This is the only day, the whole time you're in Dubai, that's set aside for this. The rest of the time you do what you want to do, except when we go to Abu Dhabi, to the temple. So without any delay, I want y'all to make some noise for somebody to help me and some of us make some money. Aki.
Thank you for that introduction, Larry. I hope you're happy with our partnership so far. Amazing. So Alicia did brief us about 2 amazing options from Shobha. One is right on the Autodrome. One is right at the sea, just 10 minutes from Wynn Casino. Both amazing locations, amazing price points. The way those properties go is you have something as an on-completion payment plan, which means you pay 60% during construction phase, the 40% on handover, you either pay out of pocket or we get a bank financing for you. But there's another way in which the payments can be paid inside of Dubai. That's what Larry decided to do with his first investment, and that's the option that we're talking about today. So Larry's first investment was Sky Hills Residences inside Jumeirah Village Circle. I'm just quickly going to brief you about the developer. It's by a developer called HRE. How HRE started in Dubai, they were a construction company. They've built houses for big developers such as Majid Al Futtaim and a lot of developers in Sharjah. Their flagship project is Kempinski Hotel right on the crescent of Palm Jumeirah. So they come from construction background and now they ventured as a developer. But what's good about them is they're doing their construction absolutely in-house. Sourcing of materials, their equipment, their staff, everything is in-house, and they come from a huge experience in terms of construction, and that is what is enabling them to deliver very high quality projects inside of Dubai.
Are they based in, they're a German developer?
They're locally based developers. They've been in the UAE for more than 25 years.
And called Kempinski Hotel, I saw that yesterday. It's beautiful, but that's where I stay when I'm in Ghana.
Yes, so Kempinski Hotel on the Palm Jumeirah, which is right across from Atlantis. It's a very iconic building. That's what has been built by HRE. They've also built a 101-story tower inside of Dubai Marina. Now, mind you, not all developers have that kind of expertise. HRE comes from that expertise, and that's why we're very confident in recommending this product to everybody here. Okay. We've been talking about Jumeirah Village Circle. Zoeb did give us a brief in the morning about the area. The best part, it's been an investor favorite for the past 5 years, 6 years. Top reasons for that is its strategic connectivity. In Dubai, it's very important to be staying close to a highway. JVC is the only community that has connectivity to 3 major highways inside of Dubai. You use Al Khail Road to travel from JVC to downtown Dubai, where Burj Khalifa and Dubai Mall is. You use Hessa Street from JVC to go to JBR and Palm Jumeirah. You use E311 to seamlessly travel throughout the city. Not just that, it takes you down south to Abu Dhabi and to Sharjah on the north. It is a prime location that JVC is in, just behind Emirates Hills. We've been talking about Emirates Hills. It's just 15 minutes away from JBR and Palm Jumeirah. Price point wise, there's a significant gap in between these communities, where JBR is trading at $600,000 US. JVC starting prices are $200,000 US. That's where the gap is. That's where we are certain that you will make some money. Location proximity, these are screenshots that have been taken during peak traffic times. This is office timings where people are commuting from JVC, and this is specifically with location to Sky Hills Residences. It's literally a 16-minute drive to JBR, where we currently are. From Sky Hills specifically, going to downtown Dubai, it's a 24-minute drive during peak traffic time. The only reason why these commute times are shortened because of the excellent connectivity that JVC has. What's more interesting to understand about JVC as a community is it's just 15 minutes away from a tourist hotspot of Dubai. So 15 minutes from JBR, 20 minutes from downtown. So it caters to a lot of tourists who are living here. In addition, you have a lot of hospitals and schools in the vicinity inside JVC and a short drive distance from JVC. And that's why it also caters to a lot of family. So you can actually do both the models of short-term as well as long-term rentals inside of JVC as a community. What does JVC today offer us? Education. It has really good schools inside the community. King's World Nursery, Little Wonders, and JSS International are inside the community. In addition to that, you have GEMS Wellington, Repton School, just a 10-minute drive distance from JVC. In terms of healthcare, you have Magnum Medical Center, Parkview Medical Clinic, Neurospinal Hospital, King's College Hospital, a short drive from JVC. Shopping, Circle Mall is a fully functional mall inside of JVC with an array of restaurants, coffee shops, a lot of supermarkets. JVC is a very green community. It has more than 30 parks inside. When you're driving around JVC, it's a really beautiful drive. It also has some leading hotels. You have 5 Jumeirah Village Hotel over there, which itself is a very iconic building. We'll be headed to the site. You'll be able to see that. It's the same hotel as 5 on the Palm. They have a second branch inside of JVC and the First Collection. Additionally, there is a future metro line that is planned inside of JVC, which is going to connect the this is basically the purple line, which is going to connect the old airport to the new airport, which we saw in the morning. The new airport, the world's largest terminal. These are the reasons why JVC has been an investor favorite, and it's depicted through these reports that have been published by the Dubai Land Department, which is the official governing authority for all real estate transactions inside of Dubai. As you can see over here, consistently for the past 4 years, that's 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, JVC has been top performing. JVC was number 1 for 2024, number 1 for 2023. It was at number 3 over here, 2022, as well as 2021. It's been consistently performing really well in terms of sales volumes and sales transactions. Price per square feet is lesser, and there's significant growth and a huge demand. This report shows us that, this is again a report published by the Dubai Land Department, which lists Jumeirah Village Circle in terms of high demand, whether it's apartment section to rent or buy apartment sections, or whether to rent and buy the villa category. When it comes to Sky Hills residences, we are getting fully furnished, affordable, luxurious apartments. Just like to highlight some of the features that the developer is giving us here. You have home automation system by HDL, which is an industry leader in terms of home automation. With this, you can actually just control everything from your phone on an application, turning on lights, opening curtains, things like that. You have centralized air conditioning by Carrier. You have premium kitchen appliances by Bosch and Tekka, like a built-in refrigerator and your kitchen cooker and everything. The developer has given details like leading brands in terms of LC and Nobly, which are Italian brands who only specialize in creating scratch-proof sinks and the faucet on top of that. You have high-quality sanitary fittings from Grohe in the washroom. Fully furnished homes, you get everything fitted from the curtains to your wall panelings, everything is fitted. It's a turnkey apartment. We will be heading to the show apartments later. It will give you a feel of what I'm talking about. We'll be able to see that. Now, this is the most important part. I understand JVC is really nice. The developer is really nice. They're giving us a really good quality product, but this is what got Larry's attention. The payment plan. I'm just going to quickly walk you through a typical studio apartment. On an average, the price of a studio apartment is around the 200.
Sorry, all the tenants up. This is the studio. So this is the least investment. One person, I was talking to Terrence, and he's like me, he wants to do by himself first, and then do a partnership, which I haven't even thought about a partnership, but Constance mentioned it to me, so I'm probably going to have that conversation. I think also Charlene mentioned it. Who asked that question? That got my mind going, and I want to do that. So I'm going to do that. And some of you that are friends, you may need to look into that as well. But this is where our attendance go up, because you can at least get in here and start growing your money. Because it's about growing your money versus going through your money and putting it on your back.
Yes. So just to explain you how the payment plan for this project goes, I've just taken an example of a studio apartment which is priced at $200,000. How the payment plan goes is, you pay 10% for the booking, which is $20,000. You get a timeline of 30 to 45 days from that to pay another $20,000. This completes your 20% down payment, and we proceed for registration once you pay the 4% DLD charge at this point. The SPA is signed and the apartment is registered in your name. From the booking date, on the 6th month, you pay a 5% payment, which is $10,000. And on the 9th month, you pay $20,000. This is what you're paying during the construction phase. Okay? This completes 35% of your payment.
All right, now, so let's break down, let's do the partnership. So let's suppose you say, okay, we're gonna get an apartment, me and 3 other people. So today, we're all gonna get $5,000. we're gonna invest 5,000. Then 45 days from that, we're gonna give to the developer another $5,000. At that point, that's when you're gonna get the SPA registered. 45, 50 days later, it's gonna come. You got your property. So you can take that to the bank, open up your account here. That's so doable. Okay, and then 6 months, you divide it by 4, whatever that is. What is that, 2,500? 2,500. And now you're eating at, what's left. And then handover, after that, they find a tenant, you go about your business. And let them pay you, and you only, whatever that is. You get what I'm saying?
Let me explain that. Let me
Okay,
elaborate on
yeah.
that a little bit. Okay. So this is what you pay in the first 1 year after you book the apartment with Sky Hills Residences. At this point, there is a gap of 1 year that you have between this point and this point. There's a gap of 1 year because your handover is Q4, December 2026. That's when your handover is. So you have more than 1 year rather to make this on handover payment, which is of $50,000. Okay, this you have to pay once the building is ready, the electricity has been connected, water has been connected, we've done snaggings, we've done fully furnished it, and they're ready to hand over the keys to you. That's the point where you pay this fee. Just to bring your attention to this fact, till this point you have paid 60% of the total price, which means for this $200,000 from your side, you've only paid $120, and you get the keys of the apartment at this point. Everything else that follows is after you receive the handover once we put the tenant in. So at this point, you get the tenant in and you collect a rental. Let's say this studio apartment gives you a rental of 17,000 dirhams. This gets deposited into your bank account. That $17,000 you can use to make this payment, which is 6 months after you get the handover. So this 20,000, 17 comes from the rent, 3,000 comes from your pocket, and that's how we facilitate this payment. This payment you have to do on your own because you've used your rental money to cover the first one. Again, at this point, you take a rental income because the year has changed, the tenancy renews, you get another rental. You get a 17,000, let's say you get another 17,000 at this point. Again, this payment gets financed partly by the rent and a little bit from your side. And then the last payment that you do is the 20,000. These are all 6 months apart, and part of it is being financed by the tenant that we put inside your apartment. At the end of 2 years, after 2 years, after the project has been delivered, your payments stop. At this point, whatever you'll be collecting from the tenant is your savings to do as you wish. Sponsor your visas inside the Dubai. Come here, spend the money, have a nice time with your family. Yes.
So typically, like at least in the United States, we have, like if someone owns a condo, there's also a home association fee. So are there any fees along, like, okay, so we're done paying after 2 years, but are there fees like to be able to use the pool and the facilities, it's an extra $2,000 a month, or like what sort of money are you looking at monthly for HOA fees in addition to like utilities and things like that?
Definitely. Exactly like what was quoted for Shobha, the first two properties that we explained, to be 17 to 19 dirhams per square foot. For this project, it is somewhere between the 12 to 14 dirhams per square feet. That would roughly be, I think, $4 a foot. So for example, this is a studio apartment that is sized at 350 square feet. You're paying $1,000 for the entire year to maintain the common facilities inside the building. And that's the only charge that you pay ever.
HOA fees usually goes towards the upkeep of the building, the security 24 hours, the reception desk, your swimming pool, elevators, just to make sure that everything is working smoothly. For the amenities that come with the towers, you pay nothing additional. So that the HOA fees either paid bi-yearly or yearly once, and that's about it.
And then what about utilities?
Utilities come out from the tenant's side. So all your electricity bills, AC bills, water bills are all paid by the tenant occupying your apartment. That does not come out from the landlord.
Sorry, one more thing. What about like property insurance?
That's absolutely your choice. If you want to get an insurance, we can put an insurance in place. There's no mandate from the government side that you need to have an insurance against the property.
I'll be honest, we own a couple of properties. I haven't really got an insurance for any of them, so it's
that's
personal choice.
And is that because of the way that the government is set up? It got to be because y'all are, the government is and the developer are interested in maintaining a great property, so that makes sense.
But what about like if a tenant ruins your place?
You want to go for it? Should I go
Go
for
for
it?
it.
Okay, so in our tenancy contract that we set up, we've got guidelines around how we work. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades now in terms of the real estate business. We put a clause where you have a minimum amount, which is on the tenant as his responsibility for all the damages that they do. Anything wear and tear under a certain amount, let's say for a studio, I'd keep about $2,000 to $2,500 for the year. Anything below that, I'll make sure that the tenant fixes it. Anything above that goes into the heavy equipment like my AC units. So when it comes to the AC unit, I want to make sure that the landlord is the one fixing it, because the tenant's just going to do a touch-up job and vacate the next year. So we keep an upper limit where, let's say, about $1,500 to $2,000. Whatever underneath that, if the faucet breaks or if the pipe is damaged, or I have to let her speak.
Also to add on what he said, that if a tenant trashes your property, when we start the tenancy contract, we have something called a security deposit. And the security deposit is different for different apartments. Like for studios, we would keep a 5% of the total rental amount as a security deposit, which is only returned back to the tenant at the end of the 12 months contract period if he hands over the studio in a suitable condition. If there's any breakage or damage, like if he puts, even for instance, if he puts up picture frames on the walls and he puts up like, if he puts nails in the walls and then he removes the frames and he doesn't repaint over it, we deduct that from the security deposit to be able to make it ready for the next tenant. So if the tenant trashes your apartment, the tenant pays for it from the security deposit.
Furnished is 10%.
And furnished apartments are 10%.
So the security deposit goes up if it's a furnished unit, so you get 10% as a security deposit, and if it's unfurnished, we charge 5%.
Okay, and one more question. So if the building catches on fire and you don't have property insurance, your investment's gone?
No, so the building has insurance from the builder's side. Inside, whatever is there is the responsibility of the tenant. So tenants also have the choice to get insurance for themselves. But the entire structure does have an insurance from the builder's side.
So the $200,000 that someone is investing, that includes furnishing, they would maybe get $170,000 back. What would that look like if the building caught on fire?
We've had situations where buildings have caught fire and the builders have stepped in to bring the building up to speed. Now, whatever is inside the apartment is your responsibility as a landlord as well as a tenant. If it's you occupying it, it's your choice if you wish to get insurance or you don't wish to get insurance. If a tenant is occupying, it's their choice again if they wish to get insurance or not. But the entire structure is the responsibility of the builder, like how Larry mentioned. They're tied up with the government to make sure that it's back up to speed.
And that's foreign to us. And that's where the question is coming from. It's like, wait a minute. So you're gonna make sure that if a fire destroyed, you're gonna make it back right. I just got to worry about what's in it. So that's normal to you guys, but to us, that is not how it works.
Yeah.
It's all on us.
Yeah.
But that's good to know.
Also, just to add on that, now this is specifically for Shobha alone. The way Shobha constructs their buildings, they add a 7-layer fire protection mechanism within their buildings so that there is no danger of any Shobha buildings catching fire. So they add like something inches of insulation?
7 layers.
7 layers insulation, which makes sure that surface elements don't directly touch the building at all. And if any of you all wish to go to their offices and see how they do it, they've made like this whole experience center where they show you how they do fireproofing for all their buildings to make sure that their buildings never catch on fire.
Great question. Yep, that's good. It's a great question. Yeah.
Any other questions on the payment plan?
But everybody understand this payment plan. And this is so doable. This is why I said everybody here don't think you can't, because first of all, this partnership, and with this partnership is very, very doable.
Very good question.
This wasn't mentioned, but I'm wondering about credit and after making payments, is it reported to the credit bureaus? I know that's different here in Dubai versus the US, so how does that work?
Did you mention the credit score?
Credit and like payments being reported, like once the 60% is paid, is it reported to a credit bureau or, you know?
Yeah, they don't have, okay, I can tell you from with American mind, then they can tell you the part. They don't have it. The way that your credit is established here is your bank account. So if you open up a bank account to get your SPA, you open an account. What I did was get a cell phone app, Dubai number, and just paying my bill and make sure everything, and consistent deposit, some kind of, it can, as long as it look like to the bank you're getting paid every month, consistent money. That's what determines whether or not you get a loan or not. Then there's some situation to where, like Z said, if they'll look at, you know, your credit score from America, but that is not really something that they have going on here or in Ghana or in it. This is not how they operate. That is, it has its positives in America, but the negative is that you're able to finance a lifestyle you cannot afford. And so there's some people in Ghana and here who like the idea, especially in Ghana, they like the idea of it, but then there's a downside because it really it helps the classism type going on. Now, I say that my American way. Now, you want to handle that?
I think you're good. Like I said earlier, that if you do not want to relocate here and start your whole credit line again, you can just transfer it from the US over here where they'll check it out. Use your property as collateral, see what your standing is back home, and according to that, they'll finance you 50% of your property value.
See, the vision of the founder of this country, it was not to use the people to build the rich, the elite, you know. It was about the people being able to be successful and grow. So that whole idea of credit is really not to advance you. It's to give you the illusion of advancement when I'm really making you more of a slave. Yeah.
Okay, so this was the studio inside of Sky Hills. That's a similar one-bedroom apartment priced at roughly $350,000 US. It has a nice layout. That's your entrance, spacious living dining area. This side you have a washroom, a bedroom on this side, that's your study room. Floor to ceiling windows for the view of the community, as well as an outdoor balcony with outdoor furniture. Okay. We also have an option of having a 2-bedroom apartment over here. We'll be heading to this site to see how far the construction has progressed for the building, as well as we'll take a look at the show apartment, so it'll be more clear as to how the layouts are and what the quality of the fittings and interiors is. We've been talking about short-term and long-term rentals, and we've established that JVC has a demand for both, whether it's a long-term tenancy or a short-term model on the Airbnb. These are just some rental contracts that I've picked up. for long-term rentals, studio apartments are going around at the 55K for the year, which is roughly 17,000 US dollars. One bedroom apartments around the 95,000 dirhams, which is roughly 25,000 US dollars. Two bedroom apartments around the 125 to 130,000 dirhams a year, which is roughly 35,000 US dollars. These are estimates on the long-term rentals. We also have certain estimates on the holiday homes and short-term rentals inside of JVC. Depending on the season, whether it's summer or winter, the per night rates vary slightly, but on an average, studios per night rentals are ranging between 200 dirhams to 400 dirhams. One bedroom apartments typically go between 300 to 600 dirhams per night. Two bedroom apartments between 350 to 800 dirhams per night. That's what we've picked up from some of the portals that we market properties on for short term. Since JVC is perfectly sandwiched between the tourists and the family-centric communities, it's catering to both, and there's a high demand for rentals. Lastly, it has a very attractive ROI because your cost of acquisition of the property is comparatively lesser than everything else that is surrounding it. And there's immense scope for growth because it's located very strategically, plus there's a lot of infrastructural development that is planned for JVC in the coming years. Yeah. Sure. So this is basically for a one bed plus study apartment, 1.3 million. That's 350.
I started out with the studio, and then I got inquisitive one evening about the one bedroom. I said, and I looked at it, I said, so for a long-term rental, a one bedroom, I did a one bedroom with a study.
You got a one bed with a study, the exact same configuration, yes.
Okay. Yeah. What, this a one bedroom with a study? Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay. No more questions?
Y'all have any more questions? Awesome.
Everybody's clear?
Cool. Akanksha was clear.
Clear, everybody's clear? All right. So we're done. It's time to eat. Oh, we're not? Okay.
Awesome. There are some leaflets on your desks. If y'all want to take them with you, they have majority of the details that you saw up on the screens. And if y'all are good, we'll head upstairs for a quick lunch. We have a bus downstairs waiting for us. Once we're done, we go see the site and go see the project as well that we discussed in detail.
Now, let me tell y'all this. Y'all have a privilege I didn't have. I was in America at the time. If you want more information, okay, how many married couples we got in here? 1, 2, 3. Oh, Mark, I thought you and Terrence were married. You're not married anymore? I said married couples. Okay. So if you want to meet with them, and I would suggest it because you just don't get this opportunity all the time, is to get the information, because you know sometimes when you sit down face to face and by yourself, you get very clear. Or if you're not just married couples, but I was looking at married couples, book them. Tell them today, by the end of our tour, tell them tomorrow what time. They'll come to the hotel to meet you here, or you can go there to their office like I did, and they will sit with you one-on-one and look at your finances, find out what you can do and what will be a better fit and setup, because they have more properties than this, but it just showed us these. Okay, am I right? Okay, good.
Some of the best ones that we recommend and we put out, but based on what you want to go with, we have other options that we can put on the table as well.
All right, thank you so much. Did she do good? Yeah. So let's go upstairs and eat, and then we got to be at the bus at 3, right? At 3.